first, let me begin by just saying thank you to the Small Business Center for hosting this event and giving me the opportunity to come out and talk to some great people. And I want to thank all of you guys who come out today and taken some time out of your busy days to learn a little bit more about the power of marketing in Google, and how great it is for small and medium-sized businesses and local businesses. So what we want to talk to you about today is how you can master Google to increase sales from Google, whether or not you have a small budget. So thanks again for having me. Just to introduce myself, it's Scott Maloley. I'm the founder of DigitalClicks Marketing. Started the company back in 2010. I'm a longtime Londoner, my husband and father of two. I've got about 23 years of business development and strategic marketing experience. The best part about my job is helping businesses grow revenue. I like to understand how my clients' businesses operate and get to know how their business works. So it's a very unique business that we're in, and it's very, very cool. I'm also a proud Fanshawe College graduate, and I have to note that because my journey in digital marketing started back in 2007 at Fanshawe College, as I was fortunate enough to be one of the first cohorts, or the first cohort of students that were involved in a Google AdWords certification course that was sponsored by Google from Mountain View, California. So it is because of Fanshawe College and that course that I am in this business today. So we also have many other Fanshawe graduates and teachers actually that are part of our team, and Fanshawe has played a pretty big role in our business going forward. So hopefully some of you have been there too, right? So my company, DigitalClicks Marketing, is a digital advertising agency, and essentially, in the simplest of terms, we help businesses get more clients from the web. What we do predominantly is deliver research, strategy, and execution of multi-channel digital advertising campaigns that increase traffic to websites and create more revenue for those businesses. We are located and headquartered in London, Ontario. So for those of you who are joining us that are local, you'll see a few of the great partners that we're fortunate enough to work with. So before we get into things, what we're going to be talking about today is how small and medium-sized businesses can compete on Google. And what we want you to know is it is possible to compete on Google, and it is possible to compete and win on Google, even if you do have a small budget. This is an example, a success story of a wonderful client of ours, Foliage, formerly called Greens Galore. And in a little over 8 months, with a little bit of hard work, planning, and strategy, we were able to help Foliage grow business. Their online orders increased by over 34% year over year, and overall their sales grew by over 200%. A lot of that had to do with a significant increase in traffic and sessions on their site, as session visitors have increased by 65% year over year. So this is a wonderful case study that we wanted to share with you. A local business here in London that's been able to champion efforts on Google and have great success. So as a small business owner or an entrepreneur, you're busy. I know you're busy because I am a small business owner and entrepreneur, and I'm busy. So I can only assume that there are a million things that you're managing, and business is hard and marketing can be hard. But today we want to show you some tips and tricks that we think will help improve your marketing performance and prove to you the value of marketing on Google. And we want you to, what the takeaway should be here is that regardless of your budget, any business can compete on Google in today's marketplace, regardless of budget considerations. So no matter what you do in marketing, it's going to cost you time, and money. The issue that most people have when it comes to marketing is that you only have so much time and so much money at your disposal. And it's trying to determine where your time is best spent and where your money is best invested, right? Marketing is a question of where is my money best invested? Where is the greatest return on my marketing budget, right? And we want to show you some really important elements of the Google ecosystem that you can take advantage of to help you do just that. All right. Many of the components that are involved in today's presentation are going to revolve around your website, and it's going to revolve around different tools within Google's marketing suite. Okay. So a fundamental question that you have to be able to ask yourself is, where do I invest my time and my money on Google? And for today's presentation, we think that the best bang for your buck is focusing on the big three, okay? So we're going to talk about some free tools. We're also going to talk about some tools that require media budgets that will help you increase your visibility and your exposure, generating more traffic and more sales online, okay? We're going to feature Google Analytics, now called GA4. We're also going to talk about your Google My Business profile, and we're going to go into a little bit of Google Ads itself, as we think these are the big three that you want to pay attention to when you're marketing with Google. So today's day and age, you have to have a website. The website is clearly important if you're a digital marketer, because it is the hub of all of your marketing activities. Everything that you do from a marketing activity, you can consider it like a spoke from a wheel, all feeding back to the hub. Okay, every marketing activity that you perform comes back to your website. So having a good, solid website is critically important. Your site serves as the primary destination for your customers to connect and contact and engage with you. And the one thing that I could stress the most for people is to make sure that your website is providing some value to your customer and it's being helpful, okay? So a great website, despite everything that you might hear about, SEO and content and landing pages, et cetera, the client really is looking for a seamless experience, okay? So the greatest things that you can do from a website perspective is you want to make sure that your site is discoverable in search engine results pages, okay? So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of certain technical SEO applications, making sure you've got a site map, all those little good things so that you are discoverable when people are searching for you, okay? Websites are super important because they're going to help your clients complete transactions. It's going to inform and educate your customer. It should be selling your brand all of the time. Your website really should be hopefully acting as a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365 sales agent for you, because people will engage with your site at so many different moments throughout a day, a week, a month, or a year. So having a website is key. The other part of the website that we want you to really pay attention to is that you're auditing your website's performance. There are a lot of changes that are happening in Google's world. Its algorithm is constantly evolving and being updated. So it's important that you perform regular audits on your website so you can understand how search engines are perceiving your brand in the marketplace. Okay. Audits are also wonderful to help you create actionable lists of how you can improve your website to make it even more discoverable in search engines. Pardon me. So now that we've talked a little bit about websites, you can't, if you're a small business, you don't want to just stop at the website alone. You have to be able to measure what is happening online, right? Your website is, your website is there to create engagement with consumers, and you want to be able to measure all of that important activity that's taking place online. So the most important tool that you can focus on from the beginning when it comes to a website is making sure that you've got Google Analytics installed and recording on your website, okay? If you do not have things set up properly, it makes it very, very difficult to manage progress in terms of and marketing success, because the data that may or may not be coming into your Google Analytics funnel may not be of quality. So it's important that you get your Google Analytics account nailed. Your analytics account is going to capture data from all sources of traffic across the web. It's also going to include all of that traffic that comes from the mobile web and mobile applications, okay? One thing that we want you to know about Google Analytics before I go too much further into it is that Google has recently announced a pretty big change from their end. Google Analytics, which used to be called Universal Analytics, is now switching to their newest version, which is called GA4. It's the fourth and most recent installment of Google Analytics, and it's important that you as business owners and webmasters understand that, because what's actually happening is they're going to be sunsetting Universal Analytics and replacing it entirely with GA4. Now, there is a deadline. Thankfully, Google has created a deadline for us all, and they've given us a little bit of runway. So your Universal Analytics will not stop working until July of 2023. But Google is recommending that you get started by opening up your GA4 profile and connecting it to your existing Universal Analytics account as soon as possible, so that you can start collecting that data and it can start transferring from one profile to the next. So if you don't know the ins and the outs of analytics and GA4, I can understand that. It gets a little bit complicated. Feel free to reach out. We can talk you through this a little bit more after today's webinar. But the point is, it's critically important that you have GA installed on your site. It's going to, again, measure and record all of that important data for you. And that essentially is what presents the information so that you can manage the success and the return on investment that your marketing campaigns are delivering through your website. So GA4 is changing somewhat from the traditional Universal Analytics. It's really going to be designed so that it helps bring in all sources of traffic. Previously, it was very difficult to see how consumer behavior was exhibited from mobile devices on Universal Analytics. So this change, we believe, is going to be very, very positive. It's going to have an increased focus on user engagement and audience insights. And it's also going to help us marketers focus on the customer journey that leads to conversions. Because if you are in business, the hardest part about digital marketing is trying to identify when your clients are online and when to serve to them, so you can create the most relevant opportunity possible for your brand. Okay, it's also going to change a little bit because Google Analytics is going cookieless. So for updated privacy reasons, now there's not going to be first-person data that is that can be leveraged through cookies. So that is a principal reason why you've got to be able to make the change come July 2023. So don't lose your data. Keep GA4 on your radar and make sure that you take care of switching that out before you forget. Oh, I think we've got a question.
Hi, there's a question. So if you don't have the old version, you just start with the new version? Maha is asking.
That is correct. I would just start today using Analytics 4. You can certainly open both. It's not terribly difficult to open up a profile in Universal Analytics or GA4. But if you're, under time constraints, I would just start with the new profile. Absolutely. Great question. Okay, so now that we have established the importance of a website, right? Because you have to have a way to engage with your brand, and let's not kid ourselves, it is the most leveraged piece of marketing material that you have in your arsenal, right? I mean, people don't go online anymore, they practically live online. So having a website that is mobily responsive and available for your customers to find you is critical. Then we attach your Google Analytics or your GA4 to your website. So you're taking care of recording all of the important information so that progress is measurable. Now, what we want to talk to you about is how you become discoverable online, particularly if you're a local business. So one of my favorite applications in the Google Suite is your Google My Business profile. Your GMB is absolutely free. Okay, it's 100% free for you to take advantage of, and it's there for local visibility specifically. Okay, so your GMB page is so leveraged that Google estimates that 51% of all GMB profiles receive over 1,000 views a month. And what's great about your Google My Business profile is it will refer a ton of information back to your Google Analytics profile, but it's also going to help you track local phone calls, clients that are searching for direction requests to your business. It's going to tell you how many website visitors it referred. And it will even give you postal code information of the people that were looking for your directions. So it's just a fabulous, fabulous tool that gives you a ton of insights. And by the way, because we talk about the ubiquity of being online and how often people are doing it, particularly now with mobile devices, 93% of consumers that shop online, okay, use Google Maps to find a local business. So this is, in my opinion, probably the most important free application from Google's marketing suite that you can take advantage of right away. Now, like anything else, there are best practices for your GMB profile. So I think that that's important that we discuss what those are. You can increase the visibility of your local listing by making sure that really it's complete, and Google loves to see participation. So let's talk about completeness first. Okay, there are a few basics. You want to make sure that you've got your updated address, your name, your address, your phone number, and your website URL. So you need your NAP information, right? Name, address, phone number, and you really want to put in your website's URL, okay, into your business listing. And then to help separate yourself a little bit, what you want to do is you want to insert relevant keywords into your profile, okay? You also want to make sure that you're choosing the proper business category for your My Business profile. Okay, and I always suggest that people use that profile as a bit of an icebreaker. You can load it up with photos of your location, your products, your colleagues, etc. So it's a wonderful icebreaker for people, particularly if they haven't shopped with you before, so they can get a little bit, so they can get to know the brand a little bit before they make the decision to come in. Right? So this is a wonderful way that you can get into a customer's consideration set that's shopping for something locally. And it's also a nice way to break the ice and introduce your brand to them. Okay. The other part about Google My Business that I think is really, really important is it's actually a bit of a searchable social platform in the sense that you can communicate through your Google My Business listing. So for those of you that have been around a long time, you might remember the old Google Plus days. That was a product that Google released that eventually went away. What they took from Google Plus was that social element and tried to incorporate that into your Google My Business listing. So if you want to take your My Business listing to the next level, you can start participating by including things like posts to your customers. You can inform them about events. You can create promotions and keep them up to date. Okay, so it's critical that you're taking advantage of this because your Google My Business listing takes up a massive amount of real estate on a search engine results page. And it really makes it difficult for the client to look somewhere else when you've got a nice full GMB profile showing up in local search engine results. Okay. And we can't forget about insights either. Like we talked about earlier, you can get a ton of valuable information just about how active people are engaging with your Google My Business profile. Okay. So this takeaway from this is low-hanging fruit. It's incredibly important and it's often overlooked. Don't let that happen to you. Fill it out as much as you can. Keep it very robust and engage with it on a regular basis. Okay. One other note about the social element of, Google My Business is that you can also use this platform as a review aggregator. Okay. Reviews are essential to help customers make decisions. They're looking at reviews more and more all the time, right? You can encourage your clients to leave you reviews on your Google My Business listing. You can also respond to all of those reviews, and remember, Google loves engagement, so that helps improve the visibility of your post. And you can even create a direct messaging system from your GMB profile to the business, so you can chat right through your GMB listing. So GMB takes care of the free. Now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, if you will, Google Ads, right? And it is my opinion, of course, I've been doing this for a long time, but I believe Google Ads is the most successful marketing channel ever, full stop, period. The reason why I believe that is not just from what I've seen over the years and what we've been able to accomplish, but it is purely 100% based on relevance. Okay. And Google, the beautiful part about Google Ads is it responds to existing demand, right? So when someone is performing a search query and you're bidding on a select number of keywords that are highly relevant to that search query, it's going to immediately serve an ad for you to that customer who's looking for what you have, right? So it is the relevance and the intent that you get from Google Ads that makes it so precise and so successful. The benefits of Google Ads are simple. It's pay-per-click. That's first and foremost. Does everybody understand what I mean by pay-per-click? You only pay when someone clicks on your ad, not when it is shown on screen. That is called an impression. So you're really paying for consumption, okay? Which is very, very unique from the traditional offline marketing days. The next benefit is the targeting. There are so many different ways that you can target your consumers. You can target them by keyword. You can target them by geography. You can even target audiences by device types if you want to serve ads on certain device types only, right? Another benefit comes from the cost certainty side. So Google Ads is an auction, okay? And what you want to do within that auction is you want to create your marketing budget based on a monthly total. And then your budget is then divided throughout 30 days of that month. So you want to be in market every day of the month, serving the consistent demand that shows up in Google search engine results. And you should know that no matter what your monthly budget is, it will not be exceeded if you're setting up your budget settings properly in your Google Ads account. Okay. So if you have a budget of $1,000 a month, you know every single month you're not going to spend over that $1,000. Periodically throughout your campaign, you may see some fluctuations on daily totals, on the amount that you've spent on media, but at the end of the month, it will succinctly stop at your budget maximum. Okay, so that gives you a little certainty. It's also going to provide you with measurable ROI. So if we take things all the way back to the beginning, we talked about analytics and recording this data. If you're recording conversions, it's going to help you understand what it's costing you to acquire a new lead, for example, right? Or what it's costing you to make that e-commerce sale. Okay, so it is extremely measurable, and that is empowering because if you're making an ROI on your marketing investment, as you should be, because that's what media in Google is, it is an investment. You want to tune the volume of your campaign so that you're constantly incrementally increasing your ROI month over month and year over year. All right. So Google Ads, in reality, is a real revenue generating channel for many businesses. The other great part about Google Ads is, aside from another popular internet marketing form that you've heard of called SEO, which can take many weeks and months of hard work to help your website propagate and rise in search rankings and search engine results pages. When you enter the Google Ads marketplace, you're instantly in the market right away. So as soon as your campaign starts, you are live and you are online. And you are only going to be targeting the geographic area in which you want to advertise to, right? So if you're a local business owner and you're trying to encourage more store visits, you really want to pay attention to just how specific you can get with the geography in terms of the audiences that you're targeting throughout the city. All right, you can set that up by postal code even, which is a wonderful way that you can ensure that you're investing your dollars in the appropriate areas, right? Obviously, you're going to have a much higher opportunity to get somebody who's within 5 kilometers to come into your store versus maybe somebody who's 30 or 35 kilometers away, right? And location is a really important signal in Google's algorithm for relevance. So that's very key takeaway. What I like about what we do for a living at DigitalClicks is we get to know businesses and we get to understand their brands, and we try to understand how they make money so that we can help them exploit that opportunity and generate more revenue. And another example, this is an e-commerce client of ours out of the GTA. When they came to us, they were doing very little marketing, nothing really digitally besides the Google My Business listing. They sell performance automotive parts, and we help them increase the return on ad spend from 19% to 544% in less than 90 days. All right, and locality and targeting played a huge component in the success of this campaign, because you can imagine marketing your business in London is a different situation than perhaps if you're situated in Toronto, just purely based on volume of search, competition for keywords, etc. So the tricky part about Google Ads is that it can sometimes be complicated. And it's time consuming, and it takes some education to really get it right. So we want to give you some tips and some best practices that are going to help increase your performance using Google Ads. Okay. Now, when we talk about Google Ads, we all know that it predominantly comes down to keywords. I think we would all agree with that one. And my advice when people are starting out, particularly with local campaigns, when it comes to keywords, is first you want to make sure that you're doing keyword research. All right. And the reason why keyword research is important is because not only do you want to be researching for those really precise, really core keywords that matter to your business, right? But you also want to be researching for negative keywords. And negative keywords are a really important component to pay-per-click in Google Ads, because if you are adding negative keywords into your account, you're essentially instructing Google Ads to keep you out of the auction. Okay, so there are many search terms that will propagate in your keyword research that you would want to negate right off the hop, and that helps you maintain that budget and maximize the return that you're getting out of it, because it's only being delivered now to relevant customers. Okay, so start with your keyword research. And then when it comes to your keyword list, if you're new to Google Ads, or even if you're a bit of a veteran, it's always easiest to start with a small keyword list first. All right, the benefit of starting small is it's certainly easier to analyze, easier to report, and it's easier to determine what's working and what isn't. So start with a small keyword list first, and then grow that keywords list as you start seeing success. your typical keywords, then what you want to do is you want to start finding stemmings or synonyms of those keywords, very similar language, in hopes that you'll get even more traffic from your ads. Okay.
Hi, Scott. There's a question. Amy is asking for examples of negative keywords.
Sure. So if you're, for example, if you're putting an ad out there and your intent is to sell a service and sell a product, you want to make sure that you're modifying a keyword, or you want to make sure that you're negating a keyword that's got a modifier on it, like free, for example, or jobs, or education, etc. If your intent behind Google Ads is commerce, right? You certainly want to make sure that keywords, again, like free or DIY, are negated from your campaign so that you're not served and then accidentally clicked. So Dennis just replied, yes, for my service business, I have negative keywords like DIY, how do I, and such. That absolutely makes sense. If you're there to make business, you want to make sure that you are eliminating that demand from your media budget. In other words, you don't want to be serving your ad to that particular client because they're not looking for your services in that particular case. So you just want to eliminate yourself from the auction right away, right? Sometimes it's better not to go in, because if you do get entered into that auction, you could be getting irrelevant clicks, irrelevant traffic, and just wasting a lot of your ad spend. So once you've got a great keyword list and you've developed your negative keywords list, the other thing that you need to consider is the geographic region that you're serving your ad to. So I talked earlier a little bit about, if you're a local business, you want to be able to serve ads to within a radius that your client is going to be comfortable coming to you to shop. That's really key. The thing about geography is the wider the geography or the geographic region that you create, the more users and the more search queries you're eligible to serve for in the auction. And what can happen is you can burn through your daily budget and your monthly budget quite quickly, the further afield you're going to go. So make sure you're paying attention to the geographic areas that you're targeting, and think about, who your audience is and how they do business with you. Again, if you're a retail store and it's required that they come to you to facilitate a transaction, you want to make sure that you're generating leads within a reasonable distance from your business, right? Because that's going to give you a higher success rate to close that particular selling opportunity.
There's another question, Scott. Teras is asking, Google support usually recommends having about 10 to 20 keywords per campaign. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's a great starting point. You want to make sure that you're using your core keywords, okay, that you're focusing on the core keywords that are relevant for your business. And just remember that Google is making a recommendation for you. It's not a hard and fast rule to have 10 or 20 within there. What really matters is that you understand what value your business delivers to the consumer, so that you can target the appropriate keywords that they would use to try to find you.
There's another one. Is it possible to instruct the ad to only show in searches for specific keywords only? Can you give examples?
Is it possible to instruct the ad to only show in search for specific keywords only?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think if I understand correctly, first of all, if you don't want to be in an auction, you can use your negative keywords, number one. But if you want to show up precisely for a particular keyword as often as you can, you want to make sure you're using different keyword match types. So, for example, you can create an exact match version of a keyword, which essentially is instructing Google so that they know that when someone searches a particular keyword like car dealer near me, if we are bidding on the term car dealer near me with an exact match with an exact match keyword type, then that's instructing Google that when this is searched, we want to serve our ad. Okay, so you can essentially limit or control the creative license that Google would have to otherwise match you to a whole bunch of different search queries. So if there are no more questions about the keyword types, I'm just going to go on to the next. I think one of the most important things that you can do, the complicated part about Google AdWords, particularly if you're a practitioner and you're doing this on your own, right? So if you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you're the marketer for your business, the hardest part for us in our industry, one of the hardest things that I find anyway, is keeping up to date with all of the changes that Google is releasing all the time. It can be a little overwhelming, in fact. So it's critical that you try to stay reasonably educated. And it's also really important that you experiment with new bid strategies, okay, and different campaign types that are getting released all of the time from Google. The reality is Google uses a lot of artificial intelligence to help connect user intent with an advertiser's ad, and it's getting better. But like anything, your approach should always be, kind of trust but verify. So when we say experiment, you kind of want to run new bid strategies against the typical strategies that you were running in the past, and you want to set them up side by each so that after a certain amount of time, whether it be a month or 2 months that your experiment lasts, you want to be able to see, are these new bid strategies performing better than what we were using previously? Are these new campaign types outperforming previous campaigns that we had? So it's really important that you're not overly nervous about trying things. Make sure that you set your budget settings appropriately so that you're not overspending, but try and experiment with these new campaign types and with new bid strategies. Okay, that's really important. The other thing that I'll suggest, that Google really likes this, you'll see now that in your Google Ads account, there is an optimization score. First thing I'll tell you about optimization scores, don't worry if it's not 100%. But if you want to chase your optimization score in Google Ads, again, like everything with Google, it's about participation. They want to see you using ad extensions in your ads. So ad extensions are elements of ads that can be delivered with your text ad. So oftentimes when you're searching online, you'll see an opportunity to click to call the business, or you'll see different site link extensions within an ad that will port you into different areas within the client's website. Sometimes you'll even see promotional call outs within the ad that are trying to entice the customer to engage with the ad and get that click. So Google loves to see you experiment with those ad extensions. And let's be honest, the real value that they provide you as an advertiser is it increases the size of the real estate that you're taking on the screen. So it's fantastic. It's hard to look away from big, from an ad that's taking up a significant portion of the screen share. So it makes a lot of sense to leverage as many of those as you can. Try and experiment with the ones that work. And again, continue to experiment with new ad extensions as they are released, because they really do help you significantly improve your performance. And then finally, ad formats and ad copy. Ad copy is really important. One of the mistakes that I see that's commonly made is that marketers focus too much on Google's algorithm and forget to include the unique value propositions of the business. A key element for Google matching a search query and an ad from an advertiser is relevance. So obviously you want your ad copy to be highly relevant to what that search query is. That's how you create that relevance with the consumer, and that's why Google Ad works. But you should be constantly experimenting with what you're putting out on that ad copy, because you'd be really surprised what works and what doesn't. So that's another little tip that I think that anybody that's involved with Google Ads or PPC in general should be doing, judiciously. Now, we've talked a lot about keywords, but within Google's ecosystem, there are also other networks. So there is the search network, but there are also search partners, whereby you've got advertisers that are allowing Google publishers to place ads on their website. So another great way to take advantage of some cheap traffic is to experiment with different ad types on different networks. For example, putting a Google display ad on the display ad network, or even trying TrueView video ads on the YouTube network. They're all becoming more and more important because all of these platforms that Google works with or owns and manages themselves, they're making these elements more important. They're encouraging people to do it, and they are just growing with, extreme popularity. YouTube comes to mind. That is a wonderful and inexpensive channel that any entrepreneur or business owner can take advantage of. And again, that is it is free to use YouTube, and they have many wonderful tools to help you build a video, create display ads, so that you can also participate on those networks. Okay, so just to quickly cover off on those again, make sure you do your keyword research. Start with a small list first and grow from there. Don't forget to add negative keywords to your account. It's critically important to remove yourself from irrelevant auctions, all right? Narrow your geography. If you're a local business operator, make sure that you're serving to your audience that can get to your business. Experiment with new bid strategies. Use ad extensions and experiment with those. And always be experimenting with your ad copy and different ad formats. So we have also included in the presentation today some free resources that I think is important for anybody who's in marketing. They're going to include some wonderful, wonderful information from platforms like Think with Google. This is a phenomenal resource that will help you understand a little bit more about digital consumer behavior and the path to purchase. For keyword research, we've included the Google Keyword Planner and Uber Suggest. And also Google has a really neat tool that's available for customers called Google Trends. So if you kind of want to understand what is trending online and what people are searching for, Google Trends is a great tool that you can go to. And it really doesn't matter what geography you're targeting. You can go as wide as North America or globally, and you can go as narrow as a province or a region. So it gives you a lot of really neat information and helps you understand what people are searching for and what's trending in that particular given moment in time. Okay.
There's some questions. Oh, sorry,
Sure.
Scott.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Someone's asking, what tools do you advise for keyword search or research? Sorry.
Yeah, so Uber Suggest is a great tool. I'm not sure if you've heard of Neil Patel, but he's been a guru in our industry for a long time. This is a tool that he developed. It's counter to Google's keyword research planning tool. In other words, it's not Google's. That's also nice because, again, you want to make sure that you're looking at a few multiple different sources. I always suggest because you never know which one of these keyword planners or keyword research tools are going to help you find that really those golden keywords. Another great tool is keywords.io, for example, is a great keyword research tool. But you can even go into Google itself. If you just start searching in Google, it's going to give you and display other or relevant search queries that other people made, search queries that are relevant to yours but different and unique. So that's another easy, simple way to use something that you use every day. You can just go to the search engine itself. Hopefully that answers the question for you, and thank you for it. That's great. So we talked a little bit earlier about websites and your website's health, and what we wanted to do for you today, and we promised we would do this, is we're going to provide you, for anybody who came to the seminar today, we want to give you a free website health report. All you need to do is click on the link that's going to be included in the deck, and it will take you to our site, which you will be able to access your report. It's going to give you a really good understanding about the website, your website, its health metrics, and how Google is viewing your website on the web. So I hope you take advantage of that. It's absolutely 100% free, and it's always good to understand sort of, you know, where you stack up. So be sure to take advantage of that. And on behalf of everybody at DigitalClicks, Shar and Whitney, who've joined me today, and all of you who've taken time out of your day to come and spend some time with us and really nerd out in Google, I want to thank you all for being here. This is you know, just a wonderful and tremendous opportunity to be able to connect with local Londoners and business owners. And if you have any questions or need some advice or assistance with your marketing, don't hesitate to reach out and speak with us. We'd be happy to help you.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for volunteering to do this. And also a big thank you to the team that helped us market this seminar. I will be posting the link onto the chat once we stop recording. And you can also email us if you didn't get the link, and request the slides and all of that.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent.
you.
If there's any other questions out there, I'd be happy to answer those as well.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, please. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you for a nice presentation. I think it was highly summarized. But
Great. Wonderful.
Can I contact you personally, maybe for a one-to-one discussion?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Anytime. We talk to people by telephone. You can email. You can find us on social media. Absolutely, sir.
I really want to come to you for more tutoring. That's why I'm asking.
Pardon me. I'm sorry.
So I really want to come close to you for more tutoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to understand it. I want to understand Google in a detailed form, not in a summarized form like this, because I use a lot of terminologies that are not too familiar to new people.
Excellent.
No, Google is a monster, and you will assume that you understand and know Google. When you attend a presentation like this, you will see that you are blue. You are really blue. You are new into that world.
Yeah, I mean, you have to involve yourself in Google. It is it is a monster.
Sure, I agree with you.
It is a lot of education that's required. And for anybody out there that wants to get into the nitty-gritty a little bit more, absolutely. We're located at the corner of Warncliffe and Baseline in London. You can come to us. We can chat online, however you prefer. We're easy folks to get a hold of, so that's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much, Scott. Thank you.
And thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And thanks for the questions.
Sure.
Anybody else have any burning Google questions that they want to?
Hey, Scott, I've got a question.
Excellent. How you doing, Dennis?
Great, thanks. Nice presentation. You had talked briefly about specific location being valuable to set up. I see that it also allows you to do like specific demographics of people, and also time of day when you want the ad to be shown.
Absolutely.
Are things worthwhile